What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios Channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams. Happy Monday, and we're here today to kick off another week of movies hand selected by my girlfriend. And the first one for this week is Sleepers, starring Jonathan Tucker, Jeffrey Wigder, Brad Renfro, Joe Perino, Robert DeNiro, Kevin Bacon, Dustin Hoffman, Billy Crudup, Ron Eldard, Brad Pitt, Jason Patric, and Minnie Driver. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, it's Monday, another Manic Monday, and we're here to kick off another week of movies hand selected by my girlfriend as we celebrate her birthday along with mine this month here on Renegades Reviews in the Casa D18 Studios channel. Today we're going to be discussing Sleepers. And as our movie opens, Lorenzo shakes Carcaterra, Tommy Marcano, Michael Sullivan, and John Riley are childhood friends living in Hell's Kitchen, New York during the 1960s. Father Bobby Carrillo, their parish priest and a youth offender himself in the past, tries to teach them right from wrong. They still play silly pranks and they start running small errands for the local gangster, King Benny. In the summer of 1967, the four boys steal a hot dog cart. They accidentally roll the cart down a set of subway stairs, severely injuring an elderly man. As a result, they are all sentenced to serve time at a juvenile detention center in upstate New York called the Wilkinson Home for Boys. Now, Shakes is only given 6 to 12 months, while the others are given 12 to 18 months, due to the fact that Shakes arrived at the scene later than the other boys. During their stay, they are repeatedly subjected to sexual abuse and torture by the head guards, Sean Noakes, Henry Addison, Ralph Ferguson, and Adam Styler. While at the facility, they participate in Wilkinson's annual football game between the guards and the inmates. Now, Michael convinces an inmate named Rizzo Robinson to help them win the game. When the guards are humiliated, they move the boys to solitary confinement for weeks, where they are systematically beaten. And Rizzo does not survive. He is beaten, and his family is told that he died of pneumonia. In the spring of 1968, shortly before Shakes' release from Wilkinson, he suggests that the boys publicly report their abuse. The others refuse, with Michael asserting that no one would believe them or care, and so they vow to never speak of it again. The night before Shakes is released, Noakes and the other guards arrange a farewell party in which the boys are brutally raped. We then fast forward to the year 1981, and John and Tommy, now career criminals who are working with the Irish mob, unexpectedly encounter Sean Noakes in a Hell's Kitchen pub. When John and Tommy confront him, he dismisses the abuse that he put them through, and as a result, they shoot him dead in front of witnesses. Michael, now an assistant district attorney, gets himself assigned to the case, as he secretly intends to botch the prosecution and expose the abuse committed by the guards at Wilkinson's. Along with Shakes, who is now a reporter, he forms a plan in order to free John and Tommy and get revenge on the other Wilkinson abusers. With the help of King Benny and Carol, the boys' childhood friend, they carry out their plan using information compiled by Michael on the backgrounds of the guards. They are assisted by Danny Snyder, an alcoholic lawyer who defends John and Tommy. Now, Michael secretly drafts scripted questions for Snyder in advance. And as a result, Snyder is able to cast significant doubt on the testimony of a woman who supposedly witnessed the murder, as well as two other witnesses who are intimidated into silence. Now, for Michael's plan to fully succeed, he decides that he must damage Noakes' reputation and convincingly place John and Tommy at another location at the time of the shooting. When called as a witness, Ferguson, who is now a social worker, admits that Noakes and the other guards systematically abused the boys. In order to clinch the case, a key witness is still needed for John and Tommy's alibi. So Shakes has a long talk with Father Bobby, and after learning the truth about the abuse that the boys suffered, he reluctantly agrees to perjure himself on the stand. At the trial, Father Bobby testifies that John and Tommy were with him at a New York Knicks versus Boston Celtics game at the time of the shooting, and he presents 3 ticket stubs to prove it. As a result, John and Tommy are acquitted. The remaining guards are also punished for their crimes. Addison, who is now a politician who still molests children, is abducted and killed near the local airport by gangsters that are led by Rizzo's older brother, Eddie Little Caesar Robinson, who heard the truth about Rizzo's death from King Benny. Meanwhile, Styler, now a corrupt police officer, is imprisoned for taking bribes and murdering a drug dealer. And Ferguson loses his job and family and spends the rest of his life working menial jobs while racked with guilt. After the acquittal, Michael, Shakes, John, and Tommy meet at a local bar with Carol in order to celebrate. It is the last time that the 4 men will ever be together. Shakes remains in Hell's Kitchen as a reporter while Michael quits the DA's office, moves to the English countryside, becomes a carpenter, and never marries. John and Tommy both die before the age is 30, as John succumbs to alcohol poisoning while Tommy is ambushed and murdered by rival criminals. Carol remains in Hell's Kitchen as a social worker and eventually has a son that she names John Thomas Michael Martinez, giving him the nickname of Shakes as our movie comes to its close. This was another film that I did not know what I was getting going into. For years, I've seen the movie cover and I've seen the list of people in the movie, and Brad Pitt, okay. Never been the hugest Pitt fan. There's a few movies of his that I do enjoy, but he's never been one of those actors where, like, okay, I got to rush out and see this. DeNiro and Hoffman, I enjoy quite a bit, but just the box is so bland that it never intrigued me. And then you sit down and you start watching the story, and you see everything start to unfold, and you watch them steal the hot dog cart, and you see them running away from the hot dog vendor, and their prank to try to have it lodged on the top shelf, the top step there, so that when the hot dog vendor goes to grab it, it falls. But the boys can't hold on to it because it's too heavy, teetering on the step. And you lose control, and you're like, oh God, oh God, oh God, something's going to happen. Bam! Guy comes around the corner, gets nailed with it. You're like, oh, Jesus. They go to the juvenile detention facility, which you acknowledge is a suitable punishment for them. You know, they deserve to get punished for their crime. They're only going to do about a year. Okay. And then they get into the system. And you see Noakes, Kevin Bacon, and some of the other people. And you watch the way these boys get treated and tormented. And you're like, this is why society has an issue with our legal system, has an issue with the cops and the people that are supposed to be there to protect and serve us. You know, and granted, this detention center is supposed to be more like a jail, but you hear about it all the time from the guards at jails too. And then they get out and they're older and they encounter Noakes in the pub. And John and Tommy do what they do. And you're like, you know what? Noakes, you deserved that. You got what was coming to you. And then they go on trial for this. And it's like, but wait a minute. This was a crime of self-defense. This was a crime that was warranted based off of prior history. And the fact that they were guilty is sin. Numerous witnesses in the pub convinced a priest to perjure himself under oath and get off with it. You sit there and you're like, I'm not entirely okay with how this went down, but I'm glad they got away with it because Noakes deserved it. And then for all the other pieces of the puzzle to crumble around the other guards, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I will be looking to purchase it, add it to my media collection, my physical collection. This was just some great storytelling, great acting, great movie all the way around. When it comes to my rating on Sleepers, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. And if I enjoy it on repeat viewings, the way I did this time, this is when I could actually see climbing up to a 5-star status. I'm curious to know what you guys think of Sleepers, though. Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. And let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel, as we once again open up the doors to Stat Boy Sports Bar. The food's hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm, so pull yourself up a bar stool and engage with your barkeeps, Stat Boy Mike and Dory Lou, as they discuss the first preseason games of the NFL season, as well as a lot more in baseball, tennis, golf, NASCAR, and all the other sports that you look to the barkeeps to engage with you and discuss with you every Tuesday on the Casa D18 Studios channel. And then later on in the evening, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, it'll be time once again for the flagship show, Talk Wrestling, with your host, Jeff Meacham. 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time, immediately following NXT for you East Coast people. 7:05 p.m. Pacific Time, just prior to NXT for us West Coasters. Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media. We've got Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou, Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham, and so much more coming your way this week that you don't want to miss any of. So make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as the case with Stat Boy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, Pay-Per-View PLE Watch Along coverage, Talk Wrestling, and so much more. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Brad Renfro, fans of Jason Patric, fans of Brad Pitt, fans of Robert DeNiro or Dustin Hoffman. Anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content, this video, share it with them, as it's the only way we're going to keep my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms now that we are in fact a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me and tuned in today. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And I will see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.